became vegan when I was 20, so that was 8 years ago, and it was right out of college. I then started working corporate soon afterwards, and it was about like a week or two into my corporate job that I read Skinny Bitch, and then that was the moment when I just changed everything. All I could think about was I had no idea. I just had no idea that all of this was happening and this is tragic, and like how could anyone contribute to animal suffering like this? I can't believe my whole life has been like contributing. It's horrible. I just cried and cried about it. So I think it was probably like that same week or a week later that I was like reading, and I like stumbled upon Colonics, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll try that. What happened first was that I just knew I wanted to do Colonics. Like I just knew it. It wasn't like a question. I was just like, I love Colonics now. They're like changing so much of like my relationship with my body, like my understanding of food and how your system works, your anatomy, just like all these things started to click that I never thought of before. And also I felt and looked really different because I had like chronically been obsessed with like how I was covered in acne for 10 years, and that was really hard for me because I just like was not, like I wanted to socialize but didn't want to see anybody ever, and that had been like throughout like high school and college and even before, so it was just like really upsetting. And then on top of that, like I couldn't even focus on the fact that I was so bloated, never went to the bathroom ever, and like those are now clear to me that they're completely related, and had like headaches every single day. And so that was like normal for me, but it's also normal for a lot of people. So it's like nothing to go to run to the doctor about, like my life is over. It's more just like this is my norm. This is normal for me. So it's just like, okay, this is my routine, you know? Wake up like really early, try to figure out how to cover my skin to some degree. So anyways, when I started to do Colonics, and for the first time, you know, things were changing in my body, and I had no expectation. I wasn't thinking, I've got to try Colonics, maybe that's the answer I'm looking for. I didn't think there was an answer. Nothing had worked my whole life, so why would there now be an answer? It was more like, it sounds right, it sounds good. Like, also, come to think of it, I guess I go to the bathroom like really infrequently, so like, okay, I should probably do this. But once I started to do it, it wasn't even like there was thought involved. I was just, I have to do this all the time. I just like don't even want to do anything but this. So like I should probably switch careers to this thing. And I think like one hard thing was, at the time, like my way of thinking was like, it's really important to get a job and stay with it as long as possible because that's the best way to grow. And like stay at this job for the rest of your life, basically. Like get the one that you want, stay there. And that's what I had been taught. And my dad was so proud of me because he was like, my daughter is like a math genius, and like she's like the only girl in her class, and she's so great, and blah, blah, blah. And my whole family's in law, and you know, it was just like, and when I told everyone that I was quitting to do Colonics, they were like, you really shouldn't do that. Like, you really just basically don't do that. And I was like, it's too late, I'm doing it, like, end of story. And then, so this was like my new path, right? So I was doing the Colonics. It was embarrassing at first because my skin was still messed up, and like, it was getting better. It was like truly way better than before, but I was like, I feel like such a fraud, like telling these people like it's so great for your skin, it's so great for everything, it'll make you feel amazing, and I'm standing here looking like mediocre at best. But it was just my path, right? It was like part of the journey. So, and it was the diet, obviously. I stopped eating dairy. Like, what do you think is gonna happen to your skin? It gets better. And I wanted to be able to provide more for these people that I'm talking to all day. Like, oh, you know, it'd be really delicious if you made X, Y, Z, and then like, all these vegan foods are so incredible and easy to make, but I didn't know how to do that because I grew up making microwaved meals. So I just like on a whim signed up for Culinary School. So I was in school on nights and weekends, and I was learning so much about like all these foods that I didn't know about that were so exciting. It's kind of like when you become vegan and you're like, this is so expansive. This isn't even remotely limiting. You walk into the supermarket and you're like, oh my God, nobody even goes to these things. They always pick out their like broccoli and their like pasta and whatever, but there's like a whole array of amazing like different kinds of mushrooms and jicama and avocados and beets. Was I good? Mm-hmm. Like, is there a right way to do that? A colonic, it's something that's been around since 1500 BC is when they originated, and they're really, really simple. It's basically like, what we do is true to like the authentic version of a colonic, which is where there's like a tank of water that's elevated. So the water is just falling from gravity, so it's not being like pumped in. It's like, think about what would happen in 1500 BC. They probably had like a bucket of water that was elevated. The water just falls. That's how it gets the speed to come in. And as it's coming in through one little tube, it's simultaneously, it's just like rolling through your intestines, like entering your natural irrigation system and pushing out all the stuff that's in the way. So there's a second tube where all of the waste and gas and all this other stuff comes out. So essentially, you're like really casually hanging out while water is flowing through you, and you're just like endlessly going to the bathroom through a tube. When kind of the masses say things like, oh, why would colonics be necessary? Your intestines are designed to do their job, but like they're not designed to eat all this crazy stuff that would have never ever been in your body in the first place. Not to mention they were doing it in a time when they didn't have like chemists making your food. There are a lot of bad things out there that you can put in your mouth. There really are so many. It seems to be that like one of the top offenders is dairy. Like, it just is so aggressive. If there's somebody who's eating dairy constantly, then you tend to have more chronic things, chronic problems, whether it's like acne or gas or bloating or whatever you're constipation, whatever it is. But if you're somebody, this is a great test, almost like an elimination diet. If somebody doesn't eat it for a couple weeks and then has like a bite of cheese, they're instantly feeling ill. And then like days afterwards is like a problem. So I would say that's like, I want to say like that's probably the worst offender, but then I think, what if someone is just eating like gummy bears all day? You know what I mean? So it's like there are just so many bad things that you could eat. 75 to 80% of your immune system lies in your intestines. So if it's compromised and full and just like really unhealthy, which most people's are, right? Think about what they're eating and what's not coming out. And you can see it, everyone has allergies, things like autoimmune problems that are really common, constantly getting sick, being around like a sick person for 5 minutes and catching what they have. I haven't gotten sick, I haven't missed one single day in 8 years. I really have not missed one day. And I don't want to say like that other vegans who are really healthy, like don't get sick. Everyone is different, but that was one of my reactions, and especially with the help of Colonics to help clear out the old stuff, right? So now you're like eating vegan and everything is great, but what about before that? When you weren't and you didn't have this information and you like ate what I ate, which was like Kraft macaroni and cheese every day for 10 years with a stick of butter and like family-sized Doritos. It was just crazy. It was crazy for me, but obviously it's not crazy for other people. That's their norm. First of all, when I first started doing colonics, there was one juice place. There was one. Now it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and I think it's a problem actually, because most people, especially New Yorkers, kind of think of it as like a quick fix or a quick weight loss or whatever, or an eating disorder, whatever they do with it. It's definitely taken people in like an unhealthy direction too, where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Vegas and like do whatever I want, and then I'm gonna come back and do a 5-day juice cleanse and reset, and it does not do that. Like, it's not a magic pill, it doesn't undo the past, it's nothing like that. All you're doing is taking a break from being disgusting. That's really all you're doing, in truth. So the other thing is that it's called a cleanse, right? Is it a cleanse? Well, what is a cleanse? A cleanse is like something that's like cleaning, but it's not really cleaning anything, it's more you're like adding all these really nice things and you're not adding horrible things. So you're taking a break from being gross, you're also adding some really nice things. But unless you're like really glued to the toilet through this cleanse, you're not gonna have a cleanse. Like, it's like nothing is getting cleaned out. So anyway, the cleanse part comes where you get a colonic, and every single juice cleanse company will say on their website, we highly recommend you get a colonic. Every single one, because some people do juices and they feel great, other people do not. And it's because you're almost like recirculating things. It's like shaking it up and swimming like right around and getting like surfaced, and you feel like symptomatic, and they're like, oh, that's just die off, or those are cleansing symptoms. But it's like not good. It's not good unless those things that are stirring around come out. So that's where the colonic comes in. The main people who come in are this. First of all, the the #1 admittance to the ER in America is constipation, right? A lot of people go in, they don't know they're constipated, that's just their diagnosis. So if they find out like, oh, why am I having all this pain or whatever, they think like an organ, they think they're having an appendicitis, whatever crazy thing is going on, it turns out it's gas or constipation. It's constipation, basically. And so they think they're dying, and it's the same thing. It's really painful, right? And a lot of people don't go to the bathroom enough or at all. So, especially women. So yeah, a lot of people do call like regularly, or who are regulars who are like chronically constipated, who go to the bathroom once a week, and that's their norm. Yeah, most people, I wouldn't say most people, that's very normal. For like most people that you know, it's not something that people talk about is the thing. It's embarrassing. It's like, it's just not, and also they don't even, some people don't think about it. Some people are obsessed and they're aware, and other people have no idea. And that was my past too. Like, I wish I could tell you how often I went to the bathroom growing up, or until I finally became aware of all of this when I was 20. But prior to that, I remember like 1 or 2 like epic events when I was like, yes, that was awesome. But like, I don't know if I like ever went really at all. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I never really went at all. And it didn't occur to me that that was a problem. I was like, oh, that's just like, I didn't even think about it. I just didn't even think about it. So that's a lot of people. So I do get calls constantly where people are like, I haven't gone to the bathroom in like 3 weeks and I'm really, really in pain, or I look pregnant. Do you think I should come in? And I'm just kind of like, now, because I'm sober, I'm like, yeah, you really need to come in. That's #1. This is gonna like change everything, but also you're destroying your body. And like, we really need to talk about food, because you're doing a lot of things. Like, what's really popular right now is paleo, and it's making people, first of all, ethically, I'm not on board with that, right? It's all meat and eggs and vegetables, and that's about it. That's not true. That's not about it. There's more, but it's definitely a lot of emphasis on the meat and the eggs. So it makes people so constipated. They're like, it was working great, which means that they lost 5 pounds. That's what that means. It was working great for a little while, and now I am looking like 6 months pregnant, and I have not gone to the bathroom in a couple weeks, and this story is like over. I'm like, whenever people say like, oh, I've been eating paleo, I'm like, okay, do you want me to just finish the story for you? Because I can easily do that. I've heard it 100 million times. I know exactly what you're about to say. So that, and those are just the people who wind up here. Like, that's like not, other people don't know to get a colonic or to like, maybe change their diet. They're so stuck on this idea of what they should eat. Like, this is like what's popular, that it must be good. Celebrities love it. They're losing weight. It's probably good. Just all you need to do is push through. It's gonna get better, but it doesn't get better. It gets like a lot worse. So that's one thing. A lot of people come in who are perfectly healthy, and this is part of their like healthy lifestyle. They're eating great. They're drinking their green juice, maybe. They're like getting their colonics, and just like keeps things moving. It strengthens their intestines and makes their digestion much stronger and better. That's my experience as well. But the stigma is not about colonics. It's about pooping. It's about like the whole reason why all these people are so constipated and nobody knows about it is because no one's talking about it, because it's not cool. It's not cool to talk about it. I can't even tell you how many, I have both of those. Like, one is where like the client loves it so much and they talk about it, and then they go back to work and their whole office comes in, and it's like all you need is one person to break that seal. Because actually people love talking about it. It's just that the stigma is that you cannot talk about it. It's off the table, it's disgusting, you can't talk about going to the bathroom. Nobody wants, until somebody starts talking about it, and then everybody wants to, and there's nonstop talking about it. And then there's like the other one where people come and it's like top secret and nobody can know about it. So it's not even about the colonic. Like I said, it's really the bigger picture is that why is pooping taboo? Why is it, right? It's like something that is like totally normal when you're a baby. It's like, the mom is, or the parents are like kind of inspecting it to see like, oh, is this healthy? I don't know, we should go to the doctor, and like looking at it and picking it up and cleaning it and putting on it, you know what I mean? And then you pick up your dog's poop, and that's totally normal. And then there like hits a point where it's not normal anymore. You cannot talk about it. It's like not cool to talk about it. And that's, I think, the big problem, because if it's not cool to talk about, then you cannot possibly address the problems. So it's important to break the stigma, not just about colonics. I don't even think that's like the problem at all. That's like next level, but yeah, pooping, that's the issue. Nobody wants to talk about it. A lot of people are scared when it's their first time. Some people are really excited and some people are scared. It's not scary. It's not scary at all. It's like really fun if you have like a cool person to get a colonic with, especially you're just like hanging out and it's great. I would recommend looking for a gravity colonic just to make sure that you have like the best possible experience. I wouldn't want to say like, oh, you really need to go get a colonic and then have you get like not a gravity colonic and then maybe not have like the best results. Because I'm really familiar with the gravity colonics and everybody is thrilled. I don't advertise at all. I don't like expend any energy doing any sort of marketing or advertising, so I don't know that side of it. It's all word of mouth, and so yeah, it's just I don't think I know anything about what other entrepreneurs do because like I don't have that experience. I don't have to do anything. People just come and then they bring their whole office and their whole family and their boyfriends and their girlfriends and their sisters.